1. Johnny Wachter. Wachter earned mainstream recognition when he portrayed Brando Corbin on the long-running daytime soap General Hospital. Audiences responded positively to his portrayal of a complex character living in a world of hospital politics and family tension. He also branched out to primetime drama, most notably playing Johnny on the NBC series Siberia, a show that highlighted his versatility. Beyond these iconic roles, Wachter made appearances in Army Wives, in films like USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage, and Supercell, showcasing his range from emotional depth to high-energy action. Sadly, Wachter's promising career came to a sudden end. At 37 years old, he became a victim of gun violence in downtown Los Angeles. Several individuals attempted to remove the catalytic converter from his car, a crime that has become more widespread in recent years due to the valuable metals within these parts. When Wachter confronted them, the suspects opened fire. Although emergency services responded quickly, he did not survive. Authorities charged 2 local gang members with his murder, offering some hope for legal resolution. 2. Stephanie Mosley. Born on February 14, 1984, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Stephanie Mosley gravitated toward the performing arts from a young age. After gaining experience in local dance troupes and community theater, she set her sights on Hollywood, where she embraced every opportunity to develop her skills in acting and dance. In a heartbreaking instance of domestic violence, Mosley's life came to a tragic end on December 8, 2014. Tensions escalated when her husband, Earl Hayes, learned of her possible infidelity. Consumed by distress and anger, he shot Mosley and then took his own life. The authorities, called to the scene, discovered them both deceased in their home. The entertainment industry mourned her passing, while advocates used her story to spotlight the seriousness of intimate partner violence. Sharon Tate emerged in the 1960s as a magnetic presence on both the runway and the big screen. Born to a military family, she lived in various locations during her childhood, an upbringing that helped her adapt easily to new people and environments. By her late teens, Tate's natural charm and camera-friendly looks caught the attention of fashion photographers. On August 8, 1969, Tate dined at El Coyote Cafe in Los Angeles with friends Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, and Abigail Folger. Later that evening, they returned to Tate's home on Cielo Drive. Past midnight, members of the Manson family cult broke in and committed a shocking series of murders. Tate, who was 8 months pregnant, and her friends were brutally killed. This horrifying event reverberated around the globe, marking one of Hollywood's darkest chapters. 4. Xxxtentacion, known professionally as Xxxtentacion, had a turbulent childhood in South Florida. Raised primarily by relatives, he channeled personal challenges into raw lyrical content. His musical style spanned hip-hop, emo rap, and even rock-influenced beats, resonating especially with younger fans who connected with his emotional honesty. On June 18, 2018, Onfroy visited Riva Motorsports in Deerfield Beach, Florida, intending to purchase a motorcycle. As he tried to leave the parking lot, a dark Dodge Journey blocked his path. 2 armed individuals confronted him, took a bag with $50,000 in cash, and fired shots that proved fatal. He was pronounced deceased soon afterward. 5. Roger Troutman. As both a performer and producer, Troutman scored hits like More Bounce to the Ounce and Computer Love, which became mainstays in clubs. He also lent his innovative touch to other artists' work, forging collaborations that brought funk into mainstream awareness. His compositions would later appear in major motion pictures such as Venom, Iron Man 2, and Pixels. On April 25, 1999, Troutman was found with multiple gunshot wounds near his Dayton, Ohio, recording studio. Despite attempts by medical personnel to save him, he died during surgery. An investigation pointed to a family dispute. Roger's brother, Larry, was discovered deceased nearby from a self-inflicted gunshot. This tragic turn of events stunned both fans and collaborators. 6. Jennifer Helen Maxwell. Jennifer Helen Maxwell's route to stardom started with small TV parts and commercials before she landed a role opposite Elvis Presley in Blue Hawaii. Her ability to hold her own against such a well-known singer-actor indicated a promising career ahead. Maxwell, a California native, balanced the demands of auditions with occasional modeling gigs. On June 10, 1981, Maxwell's life ended under tragic circumstances in the lobby of her condominium in Beverly Hills. Having recently separated from Irvin Roeder, a successful attorney alleged to have possible ties to organized crime, Maxwell was the target of what investigators labeled a botched hit. Roeder himself also succumbed to his wounds, suggesting the plan had misfired. Maxwell was just 39. 7. Eddie Hassel became recognized for supporting roles in The Kids Are All Right and Surface. Critics praised his ability to lend smaller roles an authentic vibe. In the 2013 movie Jobs, he depicted the youthful version of Chris Espinosa, showcasing his flair for portraying historical figures and real-life personalities. On November 1, 2020, Hassel visited his girlfriend's home in Grand Prairie, Texas. In the early hours of the morning, a confrontation occurred as someone attempted to steal his car. During the struggle, Hassel was shot and ultimately died from his injuries. Police soon apprehended an 18-year-old suspect. 8. Karen Kubinette. As the daughter of popular Chicago newspaper columnist Irv Kubinette, Karen Kubinette grew up around well-known media figures. This environment likely fueled her interest in the entertainment business. Drawn to acting, she moved to Los Angeles in pursuit of film and television roles. Tragically, Kubinette's journey ended on November 28, 1963, when she was found strangled in her apartment. She was only 22. Despite thorough efforts, authorities never charged anyone for her murder, leaving the case open and steeped in mystery. 9. David Huffman. David Huffman's initial passion was theater, a form of performance he felt provided a raw and powerful connection to audiences. After successfully taking part in stage productions, he ventured into television and film in the 1970s. His unassuming demeanor and ability to adapt to varied roles made him a sought-after character actor. On February 27, 1985, Huffman stumbled upon a theft in a San Diego park and confronted a 16-year-old suspect. In the ensuing struggle, the teenager used a screwdriver to stab Huffman. Medical teams tried to save his life, but his injuries were too extensive. The incident shocked both the industry and his fans. 10th. Dick Coleman. Yearning for more creatively fulfilling experiences, Coleman left Hollywood to tour with stage productions, including How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying and Half a Sixpence. This move away from film demonstrated his desire to tackle more live and dynamic performances, often highlighted by critics as a brave career decision. In 1980, Coleman faced a home invasion by 3 intruders. During the robbery, he was tragically murdered. The authorities identified and arrested those responsible, who were then convicted and sentenced accordingly. The news sent ripples through both the entertainment and theater communities. 11. Sam Cooke. Affectionately deemed the King of Soul, Sam Cooke changed the landscape of American music with his emotive vocals and songwriting prowess. Born to a minister's family, he began singing in church choirs before finding fame as a gospel singer. As his career evolved, Cooke ventured into secular music. Cooke was celebrated for chart toppers like You Send Me and A Change Is Gonna Come, a profound anthem associated with the civil rights movement. His business savvy led him to found his own record label and publishing company, defying stereotypes and empowering himself as an African-American entrepreneur in an era of limited opportunities. On December 11, 1964, Cooke lost his life at the Hacienda Motel in South Central Los Angeles. The motel manager, Bertha Franklin, insisted she was fired in self-defense. Cooke's associates, however, questioned her account, leading to ongoing speculation about the circumstances. Police officially deemed it justifiable homicide, but fans continued to debate the case. 12. Kareah McMullen. Kareah McMullen displayed an early inclination toward acting while growing up in the Los Angeles area. Encouraged by her parents, she took small parts in commercials, eventually catching the eye of casting agents searching for fresh talent. She earned fame for her portrayal of Graciela Reyes, a young gang member, in the CBS series Judging Amy. Despite her character's street-tough exterior, Kareah McMullen showcased empathy and nuance in the role. Producers noted her professional demeanor, even at a young age. In early 2005, Kareah McMullen moved into her own apartment in Inglewood, California. Around this time, she formed a relationship with a gang member almost 10 years older than her. On October 21, 2005, she was tragically shot by Damon Watts, another gang associate. She died at the age of 16, leaving behind friends, family, and a promising future. 13. Bob Crane. Bob Crane initially rose to prominence as a charismatic radio DJ, hosting a morning show that topped ratings in Connecticut and later in Los Angeles. Impressed by his on-air persona, television producers offered him guest parts on shows like The Donna Reed Show. In June 1978, Crane was performing in a dinner theater production called Beginner's Luck in Scottsdale, Arizona. When he did not show up for lunch, a co-star discovered him beaten to death in his apartment. Investigators presumed a camera tripod might have been the weapon. John Henry Carpenter, a friend of Crane's, faced charges but was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. 14. Selena Quintania Perez. Selena Quintania Perez, often known simply as Selena, blazed a trail for Tejano music in the late 20th century. Raised in Lake Jackson, Texas, she started singing as a child with her family band, Selena by Los Dinos. As she matured, Selena became a cultural icon admired for both her voice and fashion sense. On March 31, 1995, Selena confronted Yolanda Saldivar, a trusted associate who ran Selena's fan club and clothing boutiques, over embezzled funds. Meeting in a Corpus Christi Days Inn, a confrontation ensued. Saldivar pulled out a gun and shot Selena as she attempted to flee. Despite managing to reach the lobby, Selena succumbed to the injury. Saldivar was later sentenced to life in prison. 16. Lana Clarkson. Lana Clarkson was initially discovered through modeling, appearing on magazine covers that highlighted her tall, athletic build. Hollywood producers took note, and she transitioned into acting during the early 1980s, scoring roles in low-budget but popular fantasy and adventure films. On February 3, 2003, Clarkson lost her life at the home of legendary music producer Phil Spector. Investigators soon deemed it homicide, a finding bolstered by forensic evidence. Spector faced legal proceedings and was found guilty of second-degree murder in 2009, resulting in a prison sentence until his death in 2021. Merlin Santana. Merlin Santana's acting journey started early, with child roles that showcased his natural ability to captivate audiences. Born to Dominican parents in New York City, he navigated auditions and landing parts in commercials before gradually making it onto primetime television. On November 9, 2002, Santana and his friend Brandon Adams left a gathering in the Crenshaw area of Los Angeles. 19-year-old Damian Andre Gates opened fire on the vehicle Santana occupied, fatally wounding him. He died almost immediately, leaving friends, fans, and colleagues mourning his untimely end. 18. Jay Sebring. Jay Sebring transformed the idea of men's hairstyling by launching Sebring International. Early on, he recognized men's haircuts as an untapped market for modern techniques. Sebring's salon drew celebrities, and his influence spanned not only film, but also broader pop culture. On August 8, 1969, Sebring joined Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, and Wojciech Frykowski for dinner at a local restaurant. Shortly after they returned to Tate's home, Manson family members invaded the property, ending the lives of everyone present, including Sebring. His name would forever be tied to that notorious event. 19th, Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur emerged during the early 1990s hip-hop explosion. Born in Harlem, he relocated often, eventually settling in California. Early experiences with poverty and social injustice heavily shaped his poetic style. His mother's political activism contributed to his awareness of systemic inequalities. Shakur's discography blended raw street tales with reflections on race, inequality, and resilience. Albums like Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me delivered hits such as Dear Mama and California Love. His candor earned respect and caused controversy, with critics divided over his portrayal of violence. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended a Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas. Later, while riding with Death Row Records' Suge Knight, a white Cadillac pulled alongside at a red light. Occupants fired multiple shots, striking Tupac 4 times. Despite efforts by medical staff, he passed away on September 13. Rumors circulated that Sean Diddy Combs might have had involvement, though nothing has been definitively proven in court. 20th Christopher George Latore. Wallace, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace grew up in Brooklyn, a borough brimming with hip-hop influences during the 1980s. His parents, both from Jamaica, infused his upbringing with a mix of Caribbean culture and American urban experiences. Nicknamed Biggie, he initially freestyled on street corners before signing with Sean Puffy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Biggie's baritone flow, combined with intricate lyrics detailing street life, propelled him to fame. Albums like Ready to Die established him as an East Coast rap authority. Tracks including Juicy and Big Papa entered rotation on radio stations nationwide, amplifying his stardom. On March 8, 1997, Wallace attended a Soul Train Awards after-party at the Peterson Automotive Museum. When the party ended around 12:30 a.m., he and his entourage departed in two GMC Suburbans. A dark Chevy Impala sidled up, and the driver fired 4 shots, striking Wallace. He was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but was declared dead shortly after. He was 24. 21. Dorothy Stratton, Canadian-born. Dorothy Stratton originally worked as a Dairy Queen. A fateful modeling contest paved her path to Playboy magazine, where she rapidly advanced from a featured model to Playmate of the Year. Hollywood soon noticed her and cast her in comedic roles. Stratton appeared in Galaxina, and they all laughed, illustrating her ability to bring humor and allure to the screen. She garnered praise for her willingness to learn and evolve, suggesting a bright future in movies beyond her initial modeling achievements. Her estranged husband and manager, Paul Snider, organized a meeting on August 14, 1980, ostensibly to discuss their pending divorce. However, the meeting ended violently. Snider fatally shot Stratton before taking his own life. She was only 20. 22. Sal Mineo, Salvatore Mano Jr., known as Sal Mineo, shot to fame in the mid-1950s. His portrayal of John Plato Crawford in Rebel Without a Cause, at the age of 16, earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Critics admired his ability to channel teenage vulnerability. Post-Rebel Without a Cause, Mineo starred in films such as Giant, alongside James Dean, and Exodus, which won him a Golden Globe. He diversified with stage performances and explored producing directorial options that extended beyond his teen idol persona. On February 12, 1976, after a rehearsal for P.S. Your Cat is Dead, Mineo returned to his apartment in West Hollywood. Lionel Ray Williams, a young man aiming to rob him, stabbed him in the heart. The fatal attack cut Mineo's life short at 37. Williams later faced conviction and imprisonment. 23rd. John Lennon. John Winston Lennon co-founded the Beatles alongside Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, shaping the sound of 1960. Pop and rock. Lennon's wit and distinct viewpoint influenced the band's early hits and more experimental later work. His partnership with McCartney remains one of music's most acclaimed collaborations. After the Beatles disbanded in 1970, Lennon's solo career flourished, producing timeless anthems such as Imagine. He channeled much of his energy into peace activism, public demonstrations, and creative projects alongside his spouse, Yoko Ono. On December 8, 1980, Lennon met Mark David Chapman outside the Dakota in New York City and autographed a copy of Double Fantasy. After returning from a studio session later that evening, Chapman fired multiple shots, striking Lennon. Officers rushed Lennon to Roosevelt Hospital, where doctors pronounced him dead. 24th Adrien Shel. Adrien Shel, born Adrienne Levine, gained recognition through roles in Hal Hartley's indie classics, The Unbelievable Truth and Trust. She exhibited a flair for natural, understated performances, earning a modest but devoted fan base. Eager to create her own projects, Shelley wrote and directed films, with her most notable effort being Waitress, a comedic drama exploring relationships and personal dreams. She co-starred in the movie which gained critical praise and inspired a successful Broadway adaptation. On November 1st, 2006, Shelley's life came to a violent end when Diego Pilco, a construction worker, entered her apartment in Manhattan. He attempted to steal her purse but ended up taking her life instead. Caught and interrogated, Pilco received a prison sentence. 25 Gianni Versace. Gianni Versace, born in Reggio Calabria, Italy, demonstrated an early flair for design, heavily influenced by ancient Greek and Roman art. He launched his iconic fashion house, Versace, in 1978. Known for bold patterns and striking silhouettes, his creations quickly grew popular. Celebrities and royals alike donned Versace designs, cementing his standing as a top name in international couture. He expanded his brand to include fragrances, accessories, and luxurious home collections. A shrewd businessman, he combined style innovation with entrepreneurial vision. On July 15, 1997, Versace walked back to his Miami Beach mansion after purchasing his usual magazines. As he climbed the steps, a man approached and fired fatal shots. Versace was rushed to the hospital, but efforts to save him proved futile. Investigators identified Andrew Cunanan as the shooter, concluding a nationwide manhunt shortly thereafter. 26. Marvin Gay. Marvin Gay, nicknamed the Prince of Soul, grew up in Washington, D.C., singing in his father's church. His soothing vocal range and ability to infuse gospel influences into secular music caught the attention of Motown executives. He soon became a major recording star. Through the 1960s and 1970s, Gay's repertoire spanned romantic hits like I Heard It Through the Grapevine and pioneering socially conscious albums such as What's Going On. Praised for its commentary on injustice, What's Going On cemented his status as a transformative figure in R&B and soul. On April 1, 1984, an argument in the Gay household resulted in Marvin Gaye Sr. fatally shooting his son. Despite attempts to resuscitate Marvin Gaye, he succumbed to the gunshot wounds. The father later received a conviction for voluntary manslaughter. 27. Ronnie Sue Chason. Ronnie Sue Chason's career in entertainment publicity saw her representing actors like Michael Douglas and coordinating Oscars campaigns for numerous productions. Born and raised in New York, she moved west to set up an agency that guided major talents and big studio releases toward recognition. Among her triumphs was orchestrating the Oscar campaign for Driving Miss Daisy and The Hurt Locker. She proved adept at balancing multiple clients, occasionally working with leading composers like Hans Zimmer. Admired for her grace, she was said to be both fiercely motivated and committed to her clients' success. In the early hours of November 16, 2010, after attending the Hollywood premiere of Burlesque, Chason was driving through Beverly Hills. Shots were fired, striking her vehicle. She lost her life at the scene. Investigators concluded it was a robbery attempt or random act of violence, though some still question the exact motive. 28. Bai Jing. Bai Jing was an actress from China, known for her work in martial arts and historical dramas. She trained in performance arts that emphasized precision and discipline. Over time, she rose to local stardom and then gained attention from broader Chinese-speaking audiences. Her credits included Kung Fu Wing Chun, Tai Ren, and appearances in the TV series Three Kingdoms. Critics noted her dynamic screen presence and compelling performances in action-based scenes. Bai Jing was married to billionaire Zhou Chenghai. On February 28, 2012, the pair met in their Beijing apartment to discuss divorce arrangements. However, Zhou unexpectedly turned violent, stabbing Bai Jing 3 times. She died almost immediately, after which Zhou ended his own life. 29th. Christy Shoen Cod. Christy Shoen Cod, originally from Spain, displayed her culinary gifts on Season 8 of Food Network Star, endearing herself to viewers with her creativity and warmth. Following the show, she carved out a niche as a caterer for Hollywood's film sets, becoming a favorite among industry professionals. Emphasizing fresh ingredients and international flavors, Cod's menus frequently impressed cast and crew members. Her business acumen led her to explore expansions that included workshops and pop-up dining experiences. On March 15, 2015, family members reported both Christy and her husband, Joseph, missing. Investigations directed police attention to their neighbor, Robert Jason Owens, who had done contracting work in their house. Owens was ultimately charged with the couple's deaths, leading to a sense of devastation across the community. 30th. Dimebag Darrell Lance Abbott, known as Dimebag Darrell, co-founded two seminal heavy metal groups, Pantera and Damageplan. From an early age, he refined a distinct, groove-based guitar style that set him apart in a genre already brimming with virtuosos. His riffs and solos demonstrated a powerful yet melodic execution. Throughout the 1990s, Pantera soared to critical acclaim, releasing albums that popularized a heavier brand of groove metal. Tracks like Walk exemplified Darrell's signature pinch harmonics and bold chugging rhythms. When Pantera dissolved, he formed Damageplan with his brother, drummer Vinnie Paul. On December 8, 2004, during a Damageplan show at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio, a disturbed individual stormed the stage and shot Darrell multiple times. Other lives were also lost or wounded before police neutralized the shooter. The horror of the event traumatized the metal music community. 31st. Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman earned acclaim as a versatile comedian and writer. Initially a graphic artist, he joined the LA comedy troupe The Groundlings. His knack for creating memorable characters caught the attention of Saturday Night Live, where he became one of its strongest ensemble players for 8 seasons. Hartman portrayed Bill McNeil on the sitcom News Radio, offering comedic flair that balanced the cast. His comedic timing extended to voiceover work, such as various roles on The Simpsons, showcasing his talent for impressions and unique vocal characterizations. On May 27, 1998, Hartman's wife Brynn dined with a friend, appearing to be in good spirits. Later that night, she argued with Phil before he went to bed. In the early hours of May 28th, she fatally shot him while he slept and then took her own life. The shocking loss resonated deeply throughout Hollywood. 32. Lloyd Avery. Lloyd Avery's cinematic debut arrived via John Singleton's Boys in the Hood, a film lauded for its stark portrayal of urban Los Angeles. Avery played a small but iconic part, pulling the trigger in a drive-by sequence that became emblematic of the movie's themes. Though Avery secured more parts, his personal life became fraught with conflicts. Legal troubles overshadowed his potential, culminating in charges for double homicide. He was sentenced to life in prison, a severe turn for a once promising actor. On September 4, 2005, Avery was found dead in Pelican Bay State Prison after being beaten and strangled by his cellmate. At 36, he became another name in the grim roster of talents lost to violence. 33rd. Monica Spear. Monica Spear was crowned Miss Venezuela in 2004. Her vibrance and poise led her to compete at Miss Universe in 2005, placing 4th. With her platform, she shifted into acting, starring in popular telenovelas that aired throughout Latin America. Spear's strong screen presence and ability to adapt to complex roles earned her a dedicated fan base. She frequently portrayed women battling adversity in dramatic plots, showcasing emotional nuance and relatability. On January 6, 2014, Spear, her ex-husband, and their young daughter traveled through a Venezuelan highway. Criminals had laid a trap by placing sharp objects on the road. Forced to stop, Spear and her ex-husband were fatally shot by robbers. Their daughter survived with an injury to her leg. 34. Carl Switzer. Born in 1927, Carl Switzer became beloved for his portrayal of Alfalfa in the Our Gang short films, also recognized as The Little Rascals. He made audiences laugh with his off-key singing and endearing mischief. The show's popularity soared in the 1930s, gifting Switzer a prominent place in Hollywood's child star pantheon. Once Switzer aged out of the series, he found himself stereotyped by casting agents. Despite minor roles in other films, he could not entirely escape the shadow of Alfalfa. To support himself, he tried various endeavors, including radio, work and odd jobs. A friend's lost dog set the stage for a deadly confrontation on January 21, 1959. The friend insisted Switzer either return the dog or pay $50. An altercation erupted in which Switzer was shot and killed. He was only 31. Investigators concluded that the incident stemmed from a heated argument over money owed. Tredje femte, Peter Arne. Peter Arne appeared in over 50 movies, typically cast in villainous or shady roles, including parts in Blake Edwards' Pink Panther franchise. Born in England, Arne trained in drama, developing a talent for playing menacing characters. Beyond cinema, Arne took part in various theater productions and occasional TV roles, showcasing a readiness to explore diverse mediums. Admirers noted that he used a commanding voice and imposing presence in his characterizations. On August 1, 1983, neighbors overheard an argument from within Arne's house. Later, authorities found him beaten to death with a fireplace log. Investigators soon focused on a homeless teacher from Verona, Italy, whom Arne had been trying to help. Before an arrest could be made, the suspect ended his own life, leaving the case unresolved in many ways. 36th, Judith Barcie. Judith Barcie, born in 1978 in Los Angeles, was scouted at a skating rink when she was only 5. Commercials quickly led to film work due to her innocent appearance and remarkable ability to remember lines. Her voice added life to animated favorites like Ducky in The Land Before Time and Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. She also appeared in Jaws: The Revenge, building a reputation as a dependable, talented child actress. On July 25, 1988, Judith's father, who wrestled with mental health challenges and controlling behavior, turned a firearm on her and her mother, then took his own life. The tragedy highlighted the dangers of domestic instability. 37th, Susan Cabot. Susan Cabot carved a niche in 1950s Western cinema, making appearances in Tomahawk, The Duel at Silver Creek, and Gunsmoke. Known for her dark hair and expressive eyes, she gave spirited performances in the rugged Western genre. Cabot also featured in horror and science fiction B-movies, demonstrating willingness to explore multiple cinematic styles. Her modest but loyal fan base appreciated her consistency and strong screen presence. On December 10, 1986, Cabot's 22-year-old son, who had psychological issues, used a weightlifting bar to fatally strike her in her Encino home. Initial charges listed second-degree murder, but a judge later reduced it to involuntary manslaughter. He received a short sentence of probation. 38th, Danny Locken. Daniel Joseph Locken, born in Hawaii, spent much of his youth training in dance and musical theater. In 1969, he landed the role of Barnaby Tucker in the film version of Hello, Dolly, starring Barbra Streisand. Audiences were charmed by his earnest manner and deft dancing. Locken continued in stage productions, post Hello, Dolly, hoping to bolster his reputation. He aimed to prove himself as a multifaceted performer, possibly venturing into choreography and teaching. Directors appreciated his friendly disposition and unmatched commitment to rehearsal. On August 21, 1977, Locken left a Garden Grove gay bar accompanied by Charles Leslie Hopkins, an unemployed medical clerk. Soon after, Hopkins phoned police claiming a break-in. Officers arrived to find Locken's body, having suffered over 100 stab wounds. Hopkins was charged with murder. 39th. Diane FSY. Diane FSY, an American primatologist, championed the conservation of mountain gorillas in Rwanda's Virunga Mountains. She set up the Karasoke Research Center in 1967, meticulously documenting gorilla behavior and leading initiatives to stop poaching. Her writings and research, especially in Gorillas in the Mist, highlighted her emotional bond with the gorillas. FSY firmly opposed wildlife trafficking, maintaining a high-profile stance that earned her global support. On December 27, 1985, FSY was found dead in her cabin. Authorities suspected her dedication to halting poachers enraged local criminal networks. Her murder remains unsolved, although theories point to individuals benefiting from illegal wildlife trade. 40th, Christina Grimmie. Christina Grimmie built her initial fan base via YouTube, covering popular songs while seated in front of a humble keyboard. Her expressive vocals and warm online persona garnered millions of views. In 2014, Grimmie competed on Season 6 of The Voice, finishing in 3rd place. Superstar coaches praised her vocal range and authenticity. Offers from multiple record labels, including Adam Levine's and Lil Wayne's, soon followed. On June 10, 2016, after a show at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Grimmie greeted supporters. A 27-year-old man approached, seemingly shy. When she offered him a hug, he withdrew a gun and fired several shots, causing fatal injuries. He then turned the gun on himself. Hang S. Nor. Hang Somnang Nor, a Cambodian physician, endured life under the Khmer Rouge, during which he was detained and tortured. After fleeing to the United States as a refugee, he settled in California, initially practicing medicine in the immigrant community. Despite no formal acting background, Noor starred in The Killing Fields as journalist Deeth Pran. The performance secured him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, validating his portrayal of a survivor's ordeal. He continued acting to share his unique perspective. On February 25, 1996, Ngor was found shot outside his Los Angeles home. Investigators labeled the incident as a botched robbery. 3 individuals were eventually convicted, though some believe there may have been deeper motives linked to his anti-Khmer Rouge activism. 42nd. Dominique Dunn. Dominique Dunn was born into an entertainment family. Her father, Dominique Dunn, was a famous writer and producer. She made her film debut in Poltergeist as Dana Freeling, the eldest daughter, capturing immediate viewer empathy. More television work followed, including shows like Hill Street Blues and Breaking Away. Directors appreciated Dunn's charm and potential. Industry insiders believe she was on the cusp of stardom, thanks to her versatile range. Dunn's former boyfriend, John Sweeney, turned violently possessive. On October 30, 1982, a confrontation outside her West Hollywood residence escalated, and Sweeney strangled her. Dunn remained in a coma until November 4th, when she passed away. Sweeney served a minimal sentence for manslaughter. 43rd. Jefferson Machado. Jefferson Machado rose to fame as a television soap opera star in Brazil, particularly for his role in the series Rise. Known for his tall, commanding presence and affable personality, Machado enjoyed a devoted following among telenovela enthusiasts. In early 2023, Machado vanished without a trace, confounding friends, family, and authorities. Media coverage in Brazil chronicled the frantic search, fueled by theories ranging from abduction to forced disappearance. After 5 months, investigators found Machado's remains in May 2023 in Rio de Janeiro. His body had been hidden in a trunk buried 2 meters deep, surrounded by concrete. This shocking detail confirmed suspicions of foul play. 44th. Janney Pout. Janney Pout was among the founders of the Bobbettes, an all-girl doo-wop ensemble that emerged in the late 1950s. The Bobbettes thrilled audiences with upbeat harmonies, particularly on their hit Mr. Lee Pout stood out for her vocal clarity and passionate performances. The Bobbettes preceded the enormous wave of girl groups in the 1960s. Their success paved the way for future acts, showcasing that young women in music could achieve mainstream popularity. Pout's presence in the group lent depth to their vibrant stage shows. In 1980, Pout's life abruptly ended when an unknown individual stabbed her in New Jersey. She was only 34 at the time. Little information surfaced regarding the perpetrator or motive, leaving family and fans without closure. 45. Marie Trintignant. Marie Trintignant was born into a family of noted French actors. Her father, Jean-Louis Trintignant, was internationally recognized. She grew up around theater and film sets, which fueled her natural inclination toward performing. From the late 1970s onward, Trintignant appeared in over 30 films, establishing herself as an in-demand actress who handled both comedic and dramatic roles with ease. She received multiple accolades, reinforcing her reputation for refined portrayals. In July 2003, while filming in Lithuania, she argued with her boyfriend, rock singer Bertrand Cantat. He assaulted her severely, resulting in irreversible brain damage. Trintignant died on August 1, 2003. Cantat served 4 years in prison, igniting heated public debates about sentencing and domestic violence laws. 46. Bobby Fuller. Bobby Fuller grew up in El Paso, Texas, during rock and roll's formative years. Influenced by Buddy Holly's style, he formed a band that balanced the raw energy of garage rock with a pop aesthetic. They performed widely in clubs, honing a memorable stage presence. The Bobby Fuller 4, found mainstream success with the track I Fought the Law, characterized by its catchy melody and rebellious lyrics. This radio hit propelled the group onto national charts, marking Fuller as a bright star in the making. On July 18, 1966, Fuller was discovered lifeless in his car, apparently having inhaled gasoline fumes. Official records labeled his death accidental, but close associates theorized he was a victim of foul play due to suspicious circumstances, including bruising. 47th, Ramon Navaro. Born in 1899 in Durango, Mexico, Ramon Navaro became one of Hollywood's earliest and most prominent Latin American stars during the silent film era. Producers saw his striking looks and charming presence as marketable across diverse audiences. Notable roles included Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ, and The Student Prince in Old Heidelberg. He smoothly transitioned into talkies, though his popularity waned somewhat with changing tastes. Even so, he maintained a respectable filmography well into the 1930s. On October 30th, 1968, two young men forced their way into Navaro's home, convinced he had cash hidden away. They assaulted him, demanding money, eventually causing his death by asphyxiation. The pair were later convicted. The savage nature of the crime stunned Hollywood. 48th, Rebecca Schaeffer. Rebecca Schaeffer took on modeling in her teenage years, appearing in magazines internationally. With dreams of expanding her horizons, she tested the waters in Hollywood, landing her most defining part as Patricia Patty Russell on the CBS comedy My Sister Sam. Viewers appreciated the dynamic between Schaeffer and Pam Dauber on My Sister Sam, calling it refreshingly genuine. Fans admired Schaeffer's approachable demeanor, predicting a bright career in both TV and film. On July 18, 1989, an obsessed admirer, Robert John Bardo, arrived at Schaeffer's Los Angeles residence. When she opened the door, he shot her. She was only 21. Her death shook the nation, prompting calls for stricter anti-stalking regulations. California later enacted legislation that served as a forerunner for other states.